guys, it's Paige here. I'm back with this week's edition of Now What. This week we are going to talk about Nook Press. Last week we talked about Amazon. So I really thought that Nook Press had more features than it actually did, and when I started looking into it, it turns out that it doesn't. So this one's probably going to be a little short just because there's not that much to say about Nook Press. But I want to talk about it in context of comparison to Amazon. So with Amazon, you have a lot of really cool features. You have a lot of templates. You have a lot of different things that you can do to help you build your book. The thing about using Amazon is that their Kindle creator stuff is all exclusive to Kindle. So it's all a Mobi file. It's all created to be used on the Kindle. So it's not really universal. You can't use it on a Nook or a Samsung e-reader or anything like that. So Nook Press is really great because it does give you the flexibility of making an EPUB, which is what you need to put on any other generic e-reader device. It's pretty easy to use. You just create an account and you log in and you start a new project, and when you go to project, it does have a really cool feature where you can write your manuscript directly into the Nook Press dashboard. So that's kind of cool, because what I noticed with Nook Press is that sometimes whenever you copy paste your Word document into the manuscript box, like the page breaks and things like that, they don't translate very well. So sometimes what can happen is your formatting can get messed up. So it is nice to be able to write directly into the formatter so that you know that everything is going to look the way that you want it to look whenever it's on your e-reader. So that's a really nice thing about Nook. And then, of course, the other nice thing about Nook is that, like I said, it makes an EPUB for you, which if you've never tried to create an EPUB, it can be kind of difficult. That's something that I was struggling with a couple of weeks back, is that I could just not get this book to format into an EPUB. And it was just driving me crazy. I was trying everything. I was downloading all the programs, like everything. And finally I figured it out, but it just was very, very frustrating because I couldn't get it to work. So if you've ever had that problem before, you know that getting an EPUB is sometimes a little bit easier if you just get it and you don't have to do anything for it. You don't have to work for it. So that is one nice thing about using the Nook Press program. Also with the Nook Press, of course, you have the backing power of Barnes & Noble, and you have the Barnes & Noble brand behind you, and it sounds a little bit more prestigious to be able to say, yeah, my book's on the Barnes & Noble website. Yeah, you can buy my book from Barnes & Noble. That sometimes gives you a little bit more credibility. So those are really the key features with the Nook Press. Like I said, I was kind of disappointed because for having such a big brand and for being so prominent in the book selling community, you would think that Barnes & Noble would offer you some better tools to help you put your things on their website. So it really doesn't make sense. But that's something that Barnes & Noble has been criticized for in the indie author community, is just not being very up to date. They're just very behind. So it's a great place to go if you want your book on Barnes & Noble. You also have to keep in mind that distribution for ebooks on Barnes & Noble is US only. It's not available outside of the US, whereas it is with Amazon. So that's something that you also have to think about. But like I said, if you just want an EPUB and you want to get it out there on Barnes & Noble so you can tell people, hey, look me up on Barnes & Noble, it's a great place to go. And of course, there are other websites too that we can talk about next week. There's places like Smashwords and Kobo and things like that. So we'll talk a little bit about those next week. And in the meantime, go and write and publish your book. And I'll see y'all later.